claimed over 30,000 lives globally, and as of today we already have over 700,000 cases of COVID-19 in different parts of the world, and Zambia has also not been spared. So as of today we had community coming through that we do have 36 cases of COVID-19. So let's get to hear from Dr. Chichimba Kambwili and basically get to hear on what measures he feels could work in as far as prevention of COVID-19 is concerned.
Good morning, members of the press, and welcome to this very brief press briefing. And I'm sure you've seen that we've called very limited number of media houses, and you can see that our sitting with my vice president is not as usual. You can see that we are observing social distance as a way to lead by example. Before I come to the issue of COVID, I have one issue that I need to communicate to the nation and to the government. Today I'm only dealing with two issues. That is the issue of removing Prime TV from TopStar platform, and of course the issue of COVID-19. Countrymen and women, when a country stops observing their own statutes, then citizens must get worried. When the government of the day stops to observe its own statutes, then its citizens must worry. If government cannot follow the laid down procedures, if government can abrogate their own policies, then you know that you have a problem. I want to appeal to President Edgar Lungu and his cabinet that please, my dear brother President Edgar Lungu, be on top of things and make sure that what your ministers do, what your government is doing, is within the confines of the law. Let us not run the country on emotions. Let us not run this country on emotions. This country has laws, and those laws must be observed. It is extremely disheartening to see that government ministers and government are the ones who are in the forefront to abrogate their own rules and regulations. The issue of TopStar removing Prime TV from their platform is an illegality that must not be tolerated by any reasonable Zambian. The issue of TopStar removing Prime TV from their platform must not be tolerated by any Zambians. And I want to urge the President, and I want to urge the Minister of Information, and I want to urge the Chief Executive of TopStar to immediately rescind their decision and reinstate Prime TV back on TopStar platform. My demand and request is backed by law, and I am going to demonstrate. First and foremost, it must be noted that the platform and the infrastructure that TopStar is using belongs to the ordinary people of Zambia. If you remember very well, the country was compelled to move from analog to digital by the UN organ which is in charge of telecommunication and television facilities. what the UN decided was that all the countries should migrate from analog. And the cost of the migration was going to be borne by individual countries. In Zambia, when I was minister, we decided to get a loan of $282 million from China to undertake digital migration. This loan is going to be paid by taxpayers' money, meaning therefore that the facility and the infrastructure belongs to the people of Zambia. What is the law guiding digital migration? The law guiding digital migration is this piece of document, which is known as the Digital Migration Policy. Now, under this policy, there are guidelines of how the digital migration and the digital platform was going to be rolled out and managed. When you go to this policy, countrymen and women, page 4. Page 4 of this policy talks about market structure and licensing framework. And I'll quote. This is section 7.3 of the digital migration policy, which was drafted by this government and approved by cabinet. Under 7.3, I quote, the current broadcasting licensing framework shall be transformed into 2 broadcasting licensing categories, namely content service provider license and digital distributor license. In addition, no single entity, underline, no single entity shall hold both type of license at the same time. Now the question is, how is TopStar operating? TopStar is holding 2 licenses. It is running a content providing license by running TopStar TV, which is the TopStar platform. And they are also a signal carrier on behalf of the people of Zambia. That's illegality number 1. So how does an illegal entity, how does an entity that is operating illegally start sanctioning entities that are operating legally? From this policy, TopStar is operating illegally. They are running a television network like DSTV, like is it Cosway, the other one, what is it called? The other TV platform, what is it called? Strong. And also from DSTV, they've got 2 platforms. There is GoTV. So they're running content provision, and at the same time, they are a signal carrier, which is against the law, which is ultra-virus the law. The Minister of Information is aware about this provision. Cabinet is aware about this provision. They've allowed this legality to go on. Now they want to fix private media stations when they've allowed an illegality under their nose. Secondly, to set up a private signal distribution platform, the following should apply. I'll quote section 732 of the digital migration policy, and it says, the signal distributor shall be required to provide nationwide coverage and services to content service providers on a competitive and non-discriminatory basis. It goes on to say, the private signal distributor shall be established through a competitive open tender. I'll repeat the quotation. Private signal distribution. The signal distributor shall be required to provide nationwide coverage and service to the content providers. Content providers are such people like Movie TV, Prime TV, Diamond TV, etc., etc. On a competitive and non-discriminatory basis. First and foremost, to remove Prime TV from their platform, they are discriminating them, which is against the law. Thirdly, when establishing a private signal distributor, government needed to undertake a competitive open tender. Now the question is, when TopStar was established and given the authority to be the signal carrier, private signal carrier, was there any advancement done in this country? I was minister. There was no advancement. And I was against hand-picking, single sourcing TopStar to undertake the private signal carrying. I was against. But government went ahead and single sourced against the law. I have spoken about this thing, that this TopStar thing is a scandal. Now you want to use a scandal to start punishing innocent private TV stations. In Bemba they say, akalwele wishive takafia kuteta. But Doris Leah, with your government, you know that first and foremost, your TopStar shareholding with ZNBC, the entity is running the distribution platform illegally. There was no tender that was done to give them to run the platform. And people of Zambia, if you imagine how these people were selected, the mother company for TopStar was the one which was contracted to construct the digital migration infrastructure by Zambia. And after they finished, they gave them to run the same platform without following the law, by going to a tender so that other companies could have also come in to bid for this signal distribution. And at the same time, they were only hand-picked, single-sourced. Now, the same illegal entity which is running against the law has now started to victimize our own indigenous private media houses, which pay tax, which tax is going to be used to liquidate the loan which we spent in coming up with the infrastructure and the digital migration platform. Do you think this is normal? Can a normal government which respects its statute undertake such a kind of illegality? That is why we have a problem in this country. That's why we have a problem in this country. There is no way that you can contract people to come and construct your house. After they construct your house, you even give them to start collecting rent for your house, and they give you 40%, they start getting 60%. This is what has happened under this TopStar arrangement. The government is represented by ZNBC, who are getting 40%, and TopStar. No, what are they called? The mother company is called what? Star Times. Because TopStar is a creation of ZNBC at 40%, and the Star Times 60% shares. From our own platform, which we contracted them to construct on our behalf. We give them to run that platform. They get 60%, we get 40%. They have not put in any money at all. The $282 million that we borrowed is money that is going to be paid, loan that is going to be paid by the taxpayers' money, for which Diamond TV, Chishimba Kambwili, Riki Akafumba, Satawan, and many others pay tax. Now you want to go and remove Prime TV, which is paying tax, and at the same time, the whole essence of the digital migration was that we should send television signals to all parts of the country. And under analog, it was not easy to send the signals so that the people of Zambia can access television and have information. Now you, Dorasilia, and your government, you now decide to punish the people that are paying tax in order to pay the loan that we got to come up with this infrastructure called signal infrastructure. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. First and foremost, ZNBC also is running illegally, because as a shareholder in TopStar, they are holding 2 licenses. 1, content provision, and 2, they are signal carriers. The law is very clear, and I have the law here in my hands. No single entity shall hold 2 licenses at the same time. What we needed to do was to advertise for companies to bid to run the signal carrying license. And then from a competitive national tender, 1 company could have been picked. But Star Times was unpicked against the law. Now let me warn you, Star Times. With immediate effect, go and reinstate Prime TV on your platform, on our platform. In fact, to say your platform is an understatement, because that infrastructure belongs to the people of Zambia. Go and reinstate Prime TV. Secondly, drop 1 thing. Either you drop signal carrying or you stop content provision, meaning therefore that you should stop running the digital television system and remain with only being a signal carrier. And by the way, for you to remain a signal carrier, it will require that we go back to tender. So I would advise you to remain with only your TV and leave the digital platform to go back to tender, so that competitively the country can pick a company to do it, because you have failed us. You have started being used politically to close off or to intimidate private TV stations on political patronage. Now I want to warn you, if this is not done, just know that you are committing an offense. And when there is a change of government, I'll come and lock all of you up. All of you directors of TopStar, you'll be locked up. And I am going to, my government will deport all of you who are involved in TopStar. Because first and foremost, you are running an illegality in this country. Secondly, you've started being political when you know that your existence is illegal. And for you, Dorasilia, you are abusing your office. There is no law under digital or even under the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting that gives the power to the minister to direct that government cannot do business with a particular entity. That is abuse of authority. And stop abusing your authority. Otherwise, my dear Dora, at the change of government, you go back to court. The way you went to court after ZNBC, after MMD lost. It appears you don't learn. And I want to advise President Edgar Lungu. This is the same Dora and others who made MMD lose elections because of making illegal decisions and annoying the people of Zambia. Ushakanshi mwebantu wa muli chino chalo. Na mwe ntungulushi. Icho mushisambidila ko chinshi. Filafine ba MMD bale chitefia wrong. Efyo na imo mwambo kuchita. And you think the people of Zambia are stupid. And you think the people of Zambia don't read. I urge all the Zambians to go to government printers. Go and get a copy of the digital migration policy to see how your government is failing to follow its own statutes and abusing their authority. So my immediate demand is that before the close of today, TopStar put back Prime TV on the platform. There is no law that says if a particular TV station refuses to give government free adverts, they must be punished. There's no law. TV stations and private TV stations, including public ones, are regulated by the Independent Broadcasting Authority Act. And any sanctions to a TV station must be done by the Independent Broadcasting Authority and not the minister. The minister's job is policy. If the minister will be allowed to start closing up and punishing TV stations, I can tell you that the only TV station that will survive in this country is ZNBC. All the private media houses will go. And to you private TV stations, I urge you that if in the next 7 days TopStar does not rescind its decisions, the best you can do is fight together. Pull out of the TopStar platform as a way of protesting this action. Today it can be Prime TV, tomorrow it will be Diamond, the other day it will be City TV, the other day it will be QTV. I appeal to you that only talking will not help you. Tomorrow they will follow you. Uakwebe mfo yakwa noko mutanji. Elo kabili na likwebele tabulapo. To the people of Zambia, it is only that there is a COVID-19. I could have called for a protest of all the people of Zambia to take back the TopStar decoders, because this is an illegal entity that have now started punishing you, the people of Zambia, and deciding which TV station you should watch. This is unacceptable. Dola ngoli mwana wa matwi, uli na matwi omfwe. Otherwise, umulandu taubola. Elo kabili umulandu mume tukumpulafie. President Edgar Lungu, direct your minister to take back Prime TV on the TopStar platform, because everything TopStar is doing is illegal and ultra-virus the digital migration policy. Secondly, coming to the issue of COVID, I issued a very strong press briefing telling governments to be serious about COVID-19. Countrymen and women, we are not going to fight COVID-19 by holding press briefings every 11 hours, every day at 11 hours, giving us the number of new cases. That is not being serious. As much as we need to be taught the number of new cases, it can be done even by doctors from various hospitals that are treating this pandemic. Or probably leave it with the government chief spokesperson. But by virtue of the minister always at 11 hours going to give us these statistics, will not fight COVID-19. Let us not fall in the same mistakes that France, Italy, the USA and others, let us not fall into the mistakes that they made. Countrymen and women, COVID is a killer. Imagine from the time Honorable Chitaluchilufia started giving us statistics. We started with 2 cases. Within a week, today we've moved to 36. Please, government, be serious. I talked about ventilators in hospitals. And I said we only have 12 ventilators at UTH against a population of 19 million. It is over 2 weeks. What have we done to procure ventilators? Today I was reading the Mass newspaper, and a concerned worker at Livingstone Central Hospital, the biggest hospital in Southern Province, has told the whole country that they only have 1 ventilator. Where is the preparedness that we are talking about? Mere giving statistics is not fighting COVID. Gentlemen, this disease, this is the way it started in France. 1 case, 2 cases, 39, progressing in terms of number of cases. Meaning, therefore, that we are not doing enough to fight this pandemic. We did ask for a complete denial of people that are coming from high-risk countries. What have we seen today? Almost all the cases that are coming are connected to those who came from Pakistan. Despite that, we are still allowing people from Pakistan to come into Zambia. We are still allowing people from China. Why is it that China has banned people from going into China, and yet we are allowing Chinese to come into our country? Kash mwebantu mweba wa government mweba mnyinani. Ama tuyenu no kumfamu atuana kui. But this disease, if it is not well handled, this population of Zambia will be wiped off. The economy of this country will come to a standstill, will be grounded to a halt. Look, you do a partial lockdown, you close the bars. You close bars, you leave the marketplaces. Which places are more congested? Bars or marketplaces? The marketplaces are running normally with a lot of people without even observing social distancing. And what is annoying is that the ministers who are supposed to lead by example have now taken it as a show off to go in the markets that we are going to sensitize the marketeers. Is it a job of a minister to go and sensitize the marketeers? Look, when you go in the market as a minister, you don't even have a mask. You are talking to those people. They will not take you serious because them they are telling us, go to your homes, they are also coming without even masks. This is a job of the public health practitioners. Ministers start saying, look, as Minister Kampanda, I have not been moving out of my office. I'm not allowing people to come into my office. I've self-quarantined myself at home, and you, the citizens, do the same. But mule imo bushikuba minister muku checking ama bazi abe suile mu public tapali nefyo mukwete, you are not protected. And mule but nangu, even if I get sick, it's for, come on, can we put a sock in it? Where in Italy, where in France, or where in the US have you seen a minister going to check on the bus that are running? Lekeni ukwangala ukokubuta mule chita. for a better of a better term, kutumpa. Can we do things that are going to bring this disease down? Uyu ayoku, no, I'm closing the bars. Uyu ayoku. You are encouraging people to be going out because can we lead by example as ministers and take this disease very seriously? We need a complete lockdown. But if we have to do a complete lockdown, by now government should have engaged all stakeholders, including businesses, the opposition leaders and political parties. We should have come together and sit together and say, how are we going to approach this lockdown? Because there are consequences for a lockdown. But it is inevitable if we have to fight this COVID-19. You are not going to fight it if it is business as usual. People are crowded in ShopRite. People are crowded in Pick and Pay. People are crowded in markets. Then you go and close the bars. That is the segregation. If we have to do a complete lockdown, let's sit down together, plan on how we are going to handle it. For instance, those bars that have been closed, they are expected to pay as you earn. They are expected to pay NAPSA and other statutory obligations. How are we going to approach that? We could have sat down and said we suspend the payment of NAPSA until their businesses resume. We could have said we suspend the payment of pay as you earn because those people need to pay their workers. Their workers also need to survive. But you can't just wake up haphazardly and say, close the bars. At the month end, NAPSA will go and say, can you pay, or we are going to charge you, penalties. So in order for us to agree to disagree, we need to come together as a country and decide on how we are going to have this lockdown. Because we need this lockdown, and it's inevitable. But at the same time, we do appreciate that it will have serious effects on the economy. We need donors to come in and help. How are we going to look after our people that will be told to stay home? Because most of the population is hand to mouth. They'll sell tomatoes for 5 kwacha, 10 kwacha. They go and buy kapaka takawunga for them to feed. How are we going to look after those people? And with the current situation in our economy, where we don't have the money, we need the donor community to come in. But have you engaged the donor community? Have you sat with them on the round table and said, look, we need a lockdown like Zimbabwe? Zimbabwe has got 2 cases. 1 case, 2 cases. They have gone in a complete lockdown. This is what France needed to do. This is what Italy needed to do. But today they are barring 1,000 people per day. Here, you have a tester only at Independence, at Lusaka International Airport, and the testers only at UTH. How about the people in Mwinilunga? How about the people in Mporokoso? How about the people in Shangombo? Vachitaluchilufia, leave those statistics. Leave that, what do you call it, press briefing to Doris Leah to be giving statistics. Or get a doctor, one of the doctors who are directly involved in fighting this, to be giving us statistics. Go back to your office, start planning on how we are going to handle the lockdown, because it's inevitable. Without the lockdown, we are not going to fight this disease. And what wrong did HH do by advising for a lockdown? You see, you want to show your relevance, but you are showing your relevance in a wrong way. President HH says we need a lockdown. You start disparaging him. No, he's doing it. Let's keep politics out of this issue. This issue doesn't need to be politicized. And I'm appealing to President Eda to scold this Chande. Because what he said about HH calling for a lockdown is a lot of nonsense and must not be tolerated. This disease is serious. But it is not something that you can handle with kid gloves. and think you are going to win. God has been gracious with us that most of the cases are here in Lusaka. But think of a situation where these cases start going out of Lusaka. And by the way, Lusaka should have been on a lockout completely by now. 38 cases in Lusaka. We should have a complete lockout. But like I said, we need to decide as a country how these issues, who are going to help us with money. Because when you look now, you need to be taking food